Okay, Steve, it's Boston United on Saturday at Bootham Crescent. How have preparations gone this week?
We've had obviously a free weekend, but so we've trained a little bit longer, a little bit harder this week, put a little bit more time in. We usually were tapered around a little bit, recovery from the Saturday's game, but we were able to go straight into quite a tough session Monday and Tuesday, Thursday, and now obviously a little bit more tactical, and then yeah, we'll be ready for it.
How frustrating was the postponement last weekend in Manchester?
Yeah, it was a nightmare really. I mean, it did rain continuously for 4 hours, but you know, that was always going to be the case. You know, there was no let up in the sky or anything. So I think the call at 10:30 in the morning, you know, should have just been, if there was any doubt at all, everybody would have probably have preferred that than the travelling over and the preparation. Half the lads were half changed. I'd made 2 or 3 changes, which I didn't need to go through the grief on Monday morning of them asking me why. So, and then, you know, less than a week later, I've got the sun in my eyes again now. So it's like it's a complete turnaround. But it's been a really good week to train this week. You know, it's been pitches are good here, and we've got some good work in.
And not playing on Saturday, did that change the programme that you'd drawn up for the players over the following few days?
It only kind of changed Monday's intensity really. The week would have been the same anyway, but sort of Mondays tends to be a little bit lighter if we've had a tough game on the Saturday. And sometimes, you know, if I've had a really good result performance, the lads usually sometimes get a Monday off. So it's just been a full week of training. But as I said, luckily everybody's fit, everybody's raring to go, and I should have a full strength team to choose from.
It now means, of course, that you've got back-to-back games against teams who are in the top 10, and you'll be looking to bounce back from that narrow defeat against Altrincham 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't matter who we play now. We need to win games, so it doesn't matter what the opposition is. It's whoever comes along is a team that we have to look at beating, and so it makes life a bit easier when, you know, we don't look at it as in, you know, FC United are in the bottom half and Boston are in the top half, and Spennymoor will be in the top 3, and you know, we can't look at it like that. We have to look at every game now as a winnable game.
Looking back to the Altrincham game, what areas of the performance that day are you looking to improve on?
Well, we need to create more. You know, we need to. The defensive record over the last sort of 5-6 games has been good, and you know, the goal that was scored against us against Altrincham was just a goal that arguably couldn't be stopped. It was just a very good goal. But obviously we didn't test their keeper enough against Altrincham. We played a good strong side against Scarborough when we didn't score a goal. So, you know, it's a couple of games without scoring a goal. So that's, you know, it's not rocket science. But I must stress that that's not all down to forwards. You know, we have to chip in. We have to look more like scoring from set plays. We have to look like breaking the line from midfield. I think Scott Burgess, in fairness to him, was the only one that looked like scoring against Alti. So, you know, in that respect, that we have to find a way to do that, and if it means making changes and trying to bring in people and what have you, it's too important not to take the chance. So we have to do what we can, and a lot of this week's work has been about that. It's been about, you know, being positive and getting forward and breaking the line, and not having too many men behind the ball. As I say, we have to go for it, and luckily the defence has looked solid even when we have piled men forward. So as long as the back's okay, which was the first thing I wanted to change really, then we should have more strength going forward for the last sort of remaining 8 games.
Are you looking to score more goals from set pieces? Because looking back this season, I don't think the team scored too many from corners and free kicks.
Yeah, no, that's something we've stressed, something we worked on all of last week leading up to FC United, and something that we've carried on this week. We need to be more of a threat. I mean, even if we haven't got massive height, you know, we still have to get more first balls won, not allow the goalkeeper to take as many balls, and we've worked hard on that. You know, it's not a side of the game that, you know, I've been used to sort of hammering away at, but you know, as I said, the more you look back on the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks, the less dangerous we've looked, and obviously I wouldn't be doing my job properly if we didn't address it.
Looking at Boston, they've obviously got Jake Wright on loan from us at the moment. Is he able to play on Saturday?
No, part of the deal was that Jake couldn't play, and it was the same if we'd have been Macca had stayed at Bradford, it would have been the same thing. We want them to go out and get games. We want them to get the confidence back and get sharp again, but not at our detriment. So, so no, Jake won't be involved for them.
Is that good news? Because it'll unsettle their team a little bit, won't it?
Well, they also lost the main striker last week as well to injury. They came off, I think. Jake was mentioning to Mickey. So maybe maybe they've got two less goal threats than they had. But we've got to concentrate on ourselves. It's no point in nullifying the opposition if we can't score ourselves at this stage. So as I say, we really need to put our foot down and get some goals.
You mentioned Macaulay there. He's now back from his loan spell at Bradford Park Avenue. Where does he figure in your plans?
Well, Mac, I would have played Saturday. We've had enough good reports and saw enough videos and watched little bits of him that he looks like he's been a real threat for them. They wanted to keep him, but that was never the plan. The plan was always to give him a month and get him back here and be part of our finish to the end of the season, and that would have been the plan. Now this week, with the game being slightly different, the opposition being slightly different, I always say to the lads, training matters. So it'd be wrong of me to say that if you had a really good week's training, you couldn't break into the side from last Saturday. So I'm still open to that. But as I say, Mac has a lot. Was going to play a Saturday and he'll be close to the side again this week.
So that loan spell out there was really good for him.
It was, because we haven't had a lot of reserve games. We don't have a lot of reserve games. We don't have many sort of bounce games. So just training every week without a game at the end of it, it's a killer for players, and I'm surprised, not just at our club but other clubs, if players aren't involved, certainly not getting stripped on a Saturday, that they wouldn't want to go out and get games. Last thing I'd want to do as a player is be sitting on a Saturday and not stripped, watching my teammates play. So it is soul destroying for players, and that's where the loan system works. It's got them back, it's got them buzzing again.
It's fair to say that a number of players have improved the performance levels since you arrived at the club, probably none more so than Sean Newton at the back. Just give us your assessment of Sean's performances over the last few weeks.
I would say probably over the last 6 games he's been the standout, consistent performer. He's constantly playing at a level which is really high. I can't speak for what his confidence was like before I got here, but I think he's the type of player that if you challenge and you tell him you believe in him, that he'll push forward, and I think him alongside a lot of other players were a little bit low. They were getting a little bit of stick, and it's hard to cope with sometimes. And Sean's just been strong when he's had a good chat with him when I first arrived. He's mentally strong. There's a strength to him there, that leadership skills as well, and he's came through it very well. And as I say, he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet at the moment.
And do you think he's a better centre back than a left back, or is it just nice to have that versatility?
Yeah, I wouldn't have any qualms about putting him in at left back. I wouldn't have any qualms about playing him at left wing back, and I really wouldn't have any qualms about putting him as a holding midfielder, because he's got an unbelievable passing range. So what I tried to do at Gateshead with a relatively small squad was choose players A with the right attitude, but B with a little bit of versatility. So when you haven't got a huge squad, you can you still have lots of options, and Sean's a perfect example of that.
While we're talking about centre-backs, Danny Parslow hasn't played for a long time. He suffered concussion February the 5th now. Is he back in full training? What's the scenario?
He's not now. It's been a real nightmare for Danny, and obviously for his family as well, and everybody involved with him, because he's still not even anywhere near training with us, and it's been a complicated issue really, which you're probably better off talking to the physio or Danny himself about, because it's been a lot more complicated than just a normal concussion. So we all feel for him, and it's frustrating for him. We see him jogging around when everybody else is training, can't do any contact, not ready to get anywhere near heading the ball yet. So it's been a little bit of a much longer process than we all first thought, and it must be frustrating the hell out of him.
The only other long-term injury absentee, Simon Heslop. Is there any update on his progress?
Not really. He's not going to. I very much doubt he'll be even able to train by the time the season finishes. Then that's a different conversation for us to have. But we'll have that with Hezzy rather than speculate what we're going to do on camera.
Any other injury problems ahead of the game?
Touch wood, no, not at the moment. We had a full 20 training on Tuesday, which is excellent for this time of the season. But there's plenty to play for. I mean, even if we get to the point where the playoffs are that little bit out of reach, which none of us want to start thinking about yet, there's still plenty to play for. if players want to be here next season and players want to be part of what I'm looking to do, the ambition I'm wanting to push through the league next year, then it's very important to see them in the last 5-6 games when ultimately there might not be a lot to play for, and I just the attitudes and the drive and the standards stay high. So that really, if they all want to have a future at York City or have a chance of having a future at York City, there's still going to be loads to play for between now and the start of May.